Welcome, my beautiful people, to this week in review. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. And the question that we're going to be answering today comes from, it's a bunch of numbers. So I'm not even going to read the numbers. But the question is, what should I be looking for when shopping for a short-term rental PMS system? It's a great question. And I am a firm believer in automation, in setting up processes and procedures, and having a solid PMS system is going to be part of that automation and part of your processes and procedure. If you want to be successful in this business, you need to have a good PMS system. There's so many out there today, so you really need to do your homework to see which one suits you best. But I'm gonna go over, I wrote down here, 14 different things that you should be looking for when shopping for your PMS system. And at the end, I'm going to recommend the PMS system that's actually sponsoring this weekend review, which is Hostfully. I'm going to get into why I prefer Hostfully, and Hostfully is the PMS system that we use. But I'll tell you right off the bat, is it the best system? No. Are there systems out there that better? Yes, but there's a trade-off, and the trade-off will come into what I'm about to go into. So the first thing is, when any PMS system that, when you get into it, it has to be user-friendly. The interface, everything needs to be easy to use. I mentioned before in other videos that we used to have a great, phenomenal PMS system that I paid for, and it was specifically designed for us. It had all the bells and whistles. It was everything we needed. The problem was that it was too difficult for us, for me to train someone to use it. And in this business, you're going to get turnover. Chances are that the person that you're hiring is not going to stay with you forever. So you need to be able, the system needs to be user-friendly, so that if and when you have to hire someone, and or as you grow and you're hiring people, they have to be able to be trained in the system and be trained quickly. So the next is integration, right? The capacity or the integration capacity for your PMS system needs to be high. And the reason I say that is because there's going to be stuff as time goes on that you're going to want to integrate to your business, and your PMS system needs to have the capacity to integrate with that. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what I mean by integration, right? Your lock system needs to be integrated into your PMS system. Your noise detectors needs to be integrated into your system. Your website needs to be integrated into your PMS system. Those are just a few of the things that need to be integrated with your PMS system. So it has to have a high capacity for integration. Next is going to be the channel manager. Your channel manager needs to be very robust, right? Fortunately, today, most, if not all, PMS system, they do have very good channel managers. So this one's not as important as it used to be, but you really need to make sure that the channels that you want and or the area that you're in, that your PMS system is the channel manager within your PMS system is going to function as you want it to function with a lot of the OTAs out there. Next is automation in terms of messaging, right? This is another one that is not as important as it used to be. Most PMS systems do have automated messages or message system, and in regards to the channel manager and the automated messages, if the PMS system doesn't have that, then I don't care if it's free, don't use it, because these are highly important things that you need. The next two are not as common in PMS systems. You can probably get a software to integrate with it, but if it's within your PMS system, it's even better. The first one is going to be your housekeeping management. This is paramount, people. You need to have your software needs to be very good, and it needs to handle all aspects of your housekeeping. Again, a lot of PMS systems today will give you that capacity, but more importantly, if it doesn't, you need to have it needs to be able to integrate with whatever software that you currently have that manages your housekeeping. I highly recommend that you forego any secondary software to manage your housekeeper and get a PMS system that has a robust housekeeping management. Needs to be part of your PMS system. The next one is your maintenance management, especially as you grow and especially if you decide to bring this in-house. You need to have a system or your management system needs to be integrated or be part of your PMS system. So really look into that. Next is going to be security and compliance. Make sure your whatever PMS system you have or decide to get is not some second-rate system that security is going to be an issue. Next is your guest experience management or enhancement, as some people want to call it. This is another area that I'm a firm believer in. Now, you don't have to have it part of, or it doesn't need to be part of the PMS system, but your PMS system needs to be able to integrate with your guest experience. So like, for example, with us, our PMS system has a digital guidebook, but we also integrate charge automation with our PMS system, and they function as if it was one unit. So this one is important, but it doesn't need to be part of the PMS system, but the PMS system needs to integrate with that. If you didn't notice the theme here, integration is key. That's why I mentioned it as the number 2 most important part about your PMS system, is that it needs to have a high capacity for integrations. I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. Next is it needs to be mobile capable, right? Or mobile accessible. More and more people are operating out of their cell phones and mobile devices. So whatever PMS system you have, you need, I highly recommend that is mobile accessible, that you have the capacity to use it with your mobile device, but more importantly, your guests and your owners should be able to also use it and play with it with mobile capacity. The next is customer support and training. This one's important, people. You should, whatever PMS system you go with, understand that you're not going to know how to use it right off the bat. And to have that strong customer support is going to be important. I'll go back to our first system. We loved it, but the customer support was only temporary. They gave us full support for the first couple of months, but then they didn't have good customer support. So whenever we had a question or some issue came up, we had to email them and then wait for a response. Really wasn't ideal. So when I went to look for a new PMS system, and the one we landed with was Hostfully, that was important for me. I needed Hostfully to have a very good, strong customer support system, and they do. Next is your PMS system needs to allow you to scale. This one's important, people. Especially if you're looking to grow, right? If you're only going to manage 1 or 2 properties, not a big deal if your PMS system is not scalable. But if you're looking to grow and need something that's going to grow with you for years to come, then make sure that your PMS system has the capacity for growth and scalability. How do you know that, right? So the way you're going to know if you can scale is on how quick you could bring in properties or build properties. How many properties? What type of reporting system you have? What type of analytics does your PMS system has? It should be able to be your PMS system should work very well with one property or 1,000 property. Shouldn't make a difference. The last thing I'm going to talk about is pricing, or your cost and pricing and the structure. Many PMS systems will have a free setup fee or no fee for setup. Some will charge you for setup. Some, if you're bringing on or coming from another PMS system where you already have an established base, meaning you have a bunch of properties, then you can negotiate your initial transfer into your PMS system, but really look at cost. Again, I'm going to go back to Hostfully. One of the reasons why we did go to Hostfully was because of their price structure. It's really, really, really affordable. In fact, if you're new, it's free for one, to host one property. But if you decide to grow and add more properties, the cost is very minimal. Now, don't just look at what the cost of the system itself is. Here's why I say that. Because if you're going to be integrating other stuff into it, there may be additional costs with other software. So let me give you some examples here. Let's say your PMS system, when you get it, is fairly cheap. But if you start adding stuff like I mentioned before, like housekeeping management, maintenance management, accounting, if those stuff are extra charges and you have to seek other software, then you're going to have to take that into account. So it does you no good to have a cheap PMS or a cost-effective PMS system, but then when you start adding these additional software, that price is going to go up, and it'll be cheaper to go with another system that has all that as part of the PMS system, and you're not actually paying for the extra software or extra integration. Your pricing and revenue management. This one's important because there are some softwares out there, some additional software like PriceLab, AirDNA, that you can purchase and or buy into that will integrate with your PMS system. But today, there's some PMS system that will have that as part of the service. So for example, I'm gonna go back to Hostfully. If you're with Hostfully, you're going to get some pricing software for free. It's all the things you should be taking into account when looking for a pricing software. Okay, let's move on to our sales and revenue. This week we made $64,084 or $82.84. Very similar to what we made last week, if you remember from last week in review. Our additional fees came in at $13,355.19. Not to mention where our booking sources have come in. And I'm gonna start doing a little bit different. And I'm going to do it in terms of revenue. So this week we had our number one booking source was our direct booking site. We got $28,000 that came in. Airbnb came in number two with $15,000. Then we have Booking.com came in at $5.5 thousand. Then we have Vrbo at $3,000. And then we had 4,000 as others. So that's the breakdown. That's how I'm going to start to do it. And the reason I'm going to do it that way, I'm also going to give you which property has the highest RevPAR. So right now, the highest RevPAR is our Miami luxury property at $355. Our Pompano property is at $309. Oakland Park, the Palm property is at $291. Seahorse 2 is at $268. And then the rest, the average RevPAR is $125. So here's why I'm breaking it down this way is I was giving you percentage of where the bookings were coming from. But in reality, what really matters is which platform am I making the most money from? So I don't care if I get 10% of my revenue comes from Marriott, if that 10% has a higher RevPAR, has higher income. So there is a correlation with how many bookings I get from a platform versus another. There is that correlation, but understand that the quality and the amount of money and revenue it's produced by the OTA is much more important, right? So going back, I wanted to touch base and I wanted to bring up, I mentioned last time that we're trying to grow our Dream Vacation Partners Instagram page that we created. So we started that page, or I don't remember when we actually started, so I'm not going to talk about that. But the beginning of this month, we had, and I'm referring to the month of March, we had 219 followers. So I'm going to start to give you on a monthly basis what our interaction is. So let me give you some of the analytics for that page. Again, 219 followers. We had 669 interactions with different accounts. Out of those, 84 were followers and 585 were non-followers. In comparison to my Instagram page, my PMI, my Instagram, where we're over 15,000 followers on that one, most of my interaction comes with my followers. So you don't see this big discrepancy. So here's why this is important. We have 585 people interact with us, and these accounts we reached, but there were non-followers. I'm trying to convert those non-followers to followers, right? So if you're following this channel and you're not following me on Instagram, either my PMI Instagram or my Dream Vacation Instagram, do me a huge favor, follow me. If you subscribe to my Instagram on my PMI page, you're going to get access to unique content. You're going to get access to a lot of promos, a lot of discounts, and a lot of news that most people are not getting if they're not subscribed to my Instagram. But help us out. Go to @Dream Vacations by FD. Follow me there. I want to see if I can grow this within the next 6 months or so to at least 1,000 followers. Even though that's going to be difficult, as I mentioned before, Instagram right now is the hardest platform to grow on. But let's see if we can do that. Now, here's what I do, or here's our strategy. I don't know if this is ideal or perfect, but this is what I use to grow my other Instagram, and I'm going to try to use the same tactics to grow my Dream Vacation by FD Instagram. So we're on average, we post 2 to 3 reels per day. We do 2 or 3 stories per day on that Instagram, or it's actually on both. We do the same for both. Sometimes I post a little bit more, sometimes never less, but sometimes I do post a little bit more. But if there's something specifically that you guys can help me with in terms of what it is you guys would like to see, please comment below. Let me know what kind of content you'll be interested in, so I can produce that content. In addition to that, I didn't mention this on our project progress, but we made this street sign that we're going to be posting at our vineyard. The road that we're on is called Grapevine Road, but a lot of people missed that road, and there's actually a secondary road that you can go in to our vineyard that's easier to get to the house. Our property is big, and you can't see the house. You can't see where we have. You can only see the vineyard from the road. You can't see anything else. But if you go a little further down and turn on David Way, you're going to be able to quickly see the house. Anyways, so I'm gonna take a quick break right here because I want to show you this video.
Let's take a look at a ship that is positively redefining the very meaning of an iconic cruise vacation, the unique Icon of the Seas. Step on board with us as we show you 5 things you'll surely want to do during your iconic family vacation on board this breathtaking Royal Caribbean ship. Icon of the Seas is a true trailblazer in the cruise industry, and you'll want to make unforgettable memories on board with new and enhanced features and entertainment. The ship is designed to connect you with the surrounding seas, and towering floor-to-ceiling windows grace the center of Icon's promenade. These ocean vistas are enabled by the Pearl, a 50-foot-high, 200-ton sphere engineered to support the ship's structure and bring in natural light. Plus, the Pearl is an attraction in its own right, a meeting place right along the central Royal Promenade. Nearby, you can enjoy energetic dueling piano performances, revel in live artist performances at the music hall, or see Broadway-style shows in the main theater. When it comes to entertainment, the sky is the limit on board Icon. That's because the ship hosts the first ever Aquadome. By day, a quiet, magical oasis. By night, bars and dining venues turn this mesmerizing space into a dynamic hotspot, complete with incredible water shows at the Aqua Theater. In fact, our next tip is that you'll certainly want to get a kick of adrenaline on board your Icon cruise. At Category 6 Water Park, the largest water park at sea, you'll find an exhilarating selection of water slides, like Pressure Drop, where you'll be launched into a near free-fall descent, or Frightening Bolt, featuring an electrifying 360-degree loop. If you're ready to conquer a fear of heights, step out onto the Crown's Edge, a daring ropes course challenge that precariously places you more than 100 feet above the waves below. For some boardwalk nostalgia, visit Surfside, a colorful neighborhood with arcades and a real carousel. Once you've gotten your share of action under the sun, head to the opposite end of the thermometer at Absolute Zero, the largest ice rink at sea. Next up on your Icon of the Seas cruise, find some time to chill. On Icon, you're sure to find your perfect spot to catch some sea breezes. 4 of Icon's 7 pools are accessible from Chill Island, such as the pool at Royal Bay, the largest pool on any cruise ship. You can grab your favorite cocktails at Royal Caribbean's first swim-up bar, Swim and Tonic, or try an all-new concept, The Hideaway. Here, unwind in a beach club-style environment, complete with an infinity pool, which becomes the ideal place to grab drinks and socialize. Grown-up cruisers can savor the peace and tranquility of Cloud 17, an adults-only oasis perched high above the waves. Or offer the youngest cruisers gallons of fun at Splash Away Bay, a delightful aquapark that lets kids vacation their way. You can sip on your drink of choice at one of Icon's more than 15 bars and lounges, or enjoy a breath of fresh air at Central Park. This lush zone hosts several mouth-watering restaurant choices, part of why our next tip is to give your palate a treat with world-class dining. There are more than 20 unique restaurant options on Icon, ranging from timeless classics like the Gilded Main Dining Room and sprawling Windjammer Cafe to all new concepts. Casual bites abound, with options available with fresh food and a relaxed atmosphere, such as Pier 7, a California-inspired cafe. If you're looking for a truly memorable evening, specialty dining options on board highlight a variety of cuisines from around the world: Italian, hibachi, seafood, and so much more. You can be transported to the golden age of jazz at the Empire Supper Club, where 5-star cuisine is served over 8 courses alongside live jazz performances. With so many choices, you may feel ready to stay out all night. But when you do return to your cabin, be sure to follow tip number 5. Discover the perfect accommodation for you. Icon's staterooms and suites are fitted with the most modern and elegant fixtures to enhance your stay, and are designed to provide you with space to unwind in your home away from home. Choose an infinity balcony stateroom for unobstructed ocean views, or elevate your suite in the Grove, an elegant neighborhood exclusively for the use of suite guests. Featuring a private pool and to bring the entire crew together, there's no better way than with the ultimate family townhouse, a 3-story suite that features every amenity and activity a family needs to create a positively incredible getaway. If you're looking for a truly iconic vacation, this is a ship that offers it all.
Well, welcome back. Now let's continue. I am going to be very active the next 2 months in terms of travel. We have been commissioned or hired to do a lot of property optimizations or Airbnb optimizations. Now, if you're interested in that, now is the time to hit me up. I am going to be traveling to Colombia. I'm going to be traveling to Spain. I'm going to be traveling to Puerto Rico. I'm going to be traveling throughout Florida. So if you have an Airbnb, either in Puerto Rico, either in Colombia, either in Florida and Spain, hit me up so that I can squeeze you into our schedule while we're there, and we can feature your property on our social media, help you optimize your property, and just collaborate with hosts. You know, my goal for this year is to meet as many of my followers as possible, and really discuss and talk and build up everyone's business. And I'm a firm believer that rising tides lift all boats. So if we can all collaborate and get together, promote each other, then 2024 is going to be a phenomenal year for all of us. Hope this information was useful. If it was, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Follow me on Instagram, but more importantly, subscribe on Instagram. Buy me a coffee if you want to chat with me for a little bit. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.